Welcome to BizTV's Beyond the Brand. I'm Kelli Phillips. Today I'm joined by Margaret Iuculano. Margaret is president of the Christian Employers Alliance, where she is dedicated to empowering Christian business leaders in the political landscape. Stick around. We'll be right back with more of BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Our next guest brings extensive experience in both the corporate and political sectors. She leads efforts to empower business leaders and influence public policy. Please welcome Margaret Iuculano, the president of the Christian Employers Alliance, to the show. Hi, Margaret. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Doing great. Talk a little bit first about your background, where you grew up, and what life was like for you.
Sure. It's a question I get asked frequently when people learn about my background, but I was born and raised in San Diego, and unfortunately, as a young child, I entered the foster care system at about the age of about 11 and grew up in foster care until I was emancipated at the age of 16, and I would experience over 15 different foster homes before I was emancipated, and emancipation is different today. Most kids in foster care can stay in the system till they're 21. Back then, they would emancipate us as early as age 16. And I tell people that once I got emancipated, I got a job, and I've been working every day since. So my careers have been catapulted over the years. I always tell people I was incredibly grateful to be able to work. I was incredibly grateful to be able to make money and to be able to have the ability just to buy a new pair of shoes. And so when other people took all their breaks, I was always had my head down working, and kind of that work ethic, I think, catapulted me through my corporate career. So it kind of brings me to where I am here today. So
do you think you were a success because of the circumstances being raised in the foster care system, or in spite of them?
No, I absolutely, when you come out of the foster care system, most of the kids, we come out as victims. We've experienced a lot of trauma, lots of different forms of abuse, and usually it takes many, many years in hopes that people will be able to recover from some of it. And my attitude was just different. That part of my life was over. I had a strong relationship with God, and He just constantly, whenever I got down, kept me looking at Him. And, that's pretty much what got me out of the system and catapulted me, was just keeping my eyes forward and not backwards.
And you've got a smile on your face, so obviously you love what you do. Tell us a little bit about Christian Employers Alliance, what it is and what exactly you do.
Yeah, so we defend Christian employers across the nation. We have a couple hundred Christian CEOs. We're in very big growth mode right now because we're in an environment that we believe that we can start to really impact some policy and make some good policy changes in the next 2 years. And we advocate for our Christian employers. They're very busy across the, for the most part, making a payroll. And so I'm on the Hill. I represent them on the Hill every single month before Congress and before Senate. We're tracking all of the legislative issues in all of the states, heavily focused this year in 12 states. So we're also focused at the state level as the federal government starts to push things back to the state and trying to make as much change there as we can for our businesses. And really, we represent all types of industries. We have manufacturers, retailers, farmers, and so it's a really broad base of policy issues that we look at. But our Christian businesses, because of the religious freedom issues over the last 4 years, have really been discriminated against. And in the past, we had to file a lot of litigation and a lot of lawsuits to which we won the last couple of years, by the way, in order to provide injunction relief to our members. And now that we're in a different administration, the litigation is going to be less, and we're focused on taking the bad policy, converting it to good, and most importantly is getting it through Congress and getting it codified so it remains, whereas an executive order, as most people probably already aware, only lasts as long as that administration's in place. And so this is our opportunity for the next couple of years to really, promote good policy and get it codified and keep it in existence.
Can you talk a little bit about the policy and the policy changes that you're looking to implement this year?
Yeah, so we're just launching the Center for Biblical Business, which is our policy shop. And we have 5 different categories that we're focused on. We're literally tracking, Kelly, thousands of bills at the federal level and at the state levels. As you know, they change a lot. There's a lot of movement, and we need to stay on top of the ones that are going to move and actually go to vote. So that's part of our biggest challenge, because there's just so much happening so fast right now in this administration. Is just keeping up with it and making sure that that we're representing things that are going to move this year and move in 2026. And one of my biggest issues right now is under what we call advancing economic freedom, which is one of our 5 categories, and that's where you find all those job tax credit acts that we're working so hard to reinstate from 2017. And so that's right now probably our top priority. It's going to go through Congress and Senate this year. In the fall, hopefully, and our goal is obviously to get that codified and in place for good, so they can't go back and reject it next year.
It seems like you're really busy and you're only one person. Please tell me you have a team behind you.
I do. I have a really top policy advisor team of 5 people that are on the Hill. Obviously, we have a lobbying team as well that we're connected with. And we have incredible access to software that tracks all of these changes and follows everything that's going through the process. And then when I go in, and I fly up every month, when I go in and I meet with them, the Congress and the Senate, most of the times I find myself educating them on how fast things are moving, and advocating heavily for our Christian business employers across the country.
What are some of the benefits for your businesses that you represent?
I think our largest, which makes us really unique compared to other organizations, is that when we file a lawsuit or we go into litigation, and when we win that litigation, all of our employers get protected under that injunction federally. So no matter what state your business operates in, for example, we won a lawsuit last year to where we didn't have to pay for transgender surgeries inside of our insurance, and they're federally protected under that. So no matter what state they're in, their insurance company cannot mandate that they pay for transgender surgeries. And so we've got a couple of different forms of that type of litigation, as well as paying for late-term abortions. That's another one that we've won. So that protection is the thing that we're really mostly known for, and what most businesses need. As you know, the small business guys and the medium business guys don't have the government relations staff. They don't have the policy expertise or the attorneys. So we file this litigation on their behalf. As long as they're a member of ours, they're protected under our membership.
Speaking of a member of yours, how does a business get to be represented by you?
Well, usually they come to us when they're in some form of litigation, or threat of litigation. And I am trying to do some heavy marketing to change that, because we'd like them to get involved before that. And most people find out about us word of mouth, but obviously you can go to the Christian Employers Alliance website and join membership there. We do have a statement of faith that all of our members sign. And so we're all, very, very well aligned on where we stand on our biblical values and principles. And after that, they just join, and we have an annual event for them, so they all get to know each other. They get invited to be part of our fly-ins. When we go to the Hill, we invite our CEOs to come and advocate with me on the Hill, as well as at the state level. And so our mission and goal is to bring as many Christian business owners under our alliance, because we have strength in numbers, right? And we need a larger voice on the Hill, which is what I always tell everybody. There's a lot of loud voices on the Hill, and we need it to be a Christian voice.
Talk about some of the litigation that you won last year against the former president.
Yeah, so most of the religious freedom stuff that we battle is actually mandates under the EEOC. So our litigation has been filed under the EEOC, one being the transgender last year that we filed, basically allowing us to exempt transgender surgeries out of our insurance policies. As you know, any business in the country, and some states could be a little different, 15 or more employees are mandated to offer insurance. And within those insurance, then the EEOC would come in and mandate, well, you have to pay for transgender surgeries, or you have to pay for late-term abortion. And these types of issues all violate our religious freedom. And so we litigate against it, and we win. And then our members become protected and don't have to need to follow those federal mandates.
Margaret, we've got 10 more minutes that we can talk, but we need to take a quick break. Will you hang around and we'll come back and talk more?
Absolutely.
All right. Stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back with Margaret Iuculano of the Christian Employers Alliance. And Margaret, in your particular position, you have to work with both parties. How difficult, what challenges do you face, or is it easier than what we see in the media?
Yeah, I always tell people the media does a really great job of making us both sides look very divisive. And I tell people at the end of the day, we are all still Americans. A lot of Christian Americans are involved in both sides. And I like to bring a bright light to the hill. That's my purpose in following Jesus to begin with. And so bringing a bright light. But I find that, both sides have an equal amount of Christians. Both parties believe that they're there for the right reason. They think that they all believe that they're voting properly for their constituency who voted them into office. And so the constituency who voted him into office plays a much bigger role than actually the person sitting there. And there are certain topics that we're very, very divided on. Obviously, we're very divided when it comes to late-term abortion and transgender surgeries. And as you can see with the DEI, there's great division there. But there's also a lot of things that, we have find a lot of common ground. And I have to meet with both sides of the party. And there are certain offices who I won't name that don't allow me in their hallways. And honestly, I don't want to be in their hallways either. But that's very far and few between. I mean, those would be just considered some of the extreme radicals. It takes me the same amount of effort on anything I'm working on to get both sides engaged. And the left, even though I am obviously a conservative Christian, and everybody knows my beliefs, the left, when I meet with them, they'll pray with me. They're very, very respectful to me. They've got really incredible professional staff, and it never hurts for us to be a bright light and share our faith with them as well.
Can you speak a little bit about DOGE and what your particular alliance believes and how things are working out at this point?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, Kelly, I get myself in trouble. So I personally, I love DOGE, and we've got hundreds of members, right? And so obviously I might have one or two that might not agree. But that's the uncovering of all of the wasteful taxpayer dollar spending. I can't understand why everybody would be 100% behind what's being uncovered. The facts are coming out. And if it's factual information, let's fix it.
Is there such a thing as going too far with DOGE?
Well, sure. I mean, honestly, we could go too far with any issue, right? We can go too far with any issue. But, I really have the feeling that we've got so much easy stuff to uncover. I think it'll take us a long time before we be considered too far.
The Farm Bill, can you speak a little bit about it and what you're dealing with?
Yeah, so the Farm Bill is something that rears its ugly head every 5 years. It is representing of farmers, across our country. Obviously, we care very much at CEI, and I personally, CEA, we care very, very much about our farmers. We believe our farmers have the right to their own land. We believe that just because they receive government subsidies doesn't give the government the right to take any of their mineral rights from their land, which is an issue that we're always looking at and is on our agenda this year. The other thing that the Farm Bill, and as you can imagine, it's really big. It's filled with a lot of pork. No joke involved there. And is the Chinese takeover of our farmlands, and so we believe that we should not have the Chinese being able to take over our farmlands. That's something that goes back with Congress. We believe that should never have been passed to begin with. So it's a constant battle that we fight with every 5 years when the Farm Bill comes. And, it's become a little bit of a national security issue because China owns so much of our pork. And we shouldn't have, somebody that we are always at threat at war with, being, the main owners of our pork. They send most of the pork back to feed their own people instead of ours. And so we've just got a lot of bills to fix around that. Simple things like when you go to the grocery store, when it says a USDA label, which is also under the Farm Bill, that doesn't really mean that the meat or the pork's coming from the United States. It just means it was packaged here. So we're fighting for simple things like labeling that says this was, this cattle was born, raised, and packaged here. We want to know where our cattle's coming from. We want to know where our pork's coming from. And as simple as these things seem to the public that we should be able to fix, there's a lot of money involved in the cattle, the dairy farmers, and and the pork industry, and it's a really big battle with a lot of different entities with a lot of special interests.
Are there some other big bills that you're working on that you can share with us?
Yeah, so the farmland's probably the largest. I've been working on the thing for 3 years. Obviously, we care a lot about our farmers, and 100% of our farmers are Christian, and they've had a really rough, lots of regulations come down on them in the last couple of years, to really just extreme forms of socialism. So we want to fix that. We're going to continue to fight that through until we can hopefully wipe it out for good. And we're also looking at things like the Charity Act is an important thing for us this year. The Charity Act every year, if you have a 501c3, you have to file in every single state that you fundraise, which for most charities, that's every single state in America. You have to file financials. You have to file who your board members are. You have to file all your financial information. We think that that's just government overreach, and we think that this is a good time to change that. Alongside that, you also saw the BOI come out this year, which the small business community, or not just the small business, most of the business community came out against, which was very similar to what's going on in the nonprofit world, where you had to file your financials, who the ownership was. Once again, complete government overreach. And we saw that just get slightly reversed about 2 weeks ago, but it's really not reversed. The law is still in place, and so it can rear its ugly head at any point. And so we're going to try to go and fix that piece of the law and get it back through Congress and get it codified so that doesn't rear its ugly head again in a year or two, which is what all of this stuff does. Every time there's a shift in administrations, everything just keeps rearing itself up. And so the plan is to really allow things to go through the legal process, put it through Congress, get it codified. And so then it becomes a law. And then the only way to undo it is through litigation.
What do you see in the future for Christian Employers Alliance? Do you see it getting better, or is it constantly going to be this, once we change, then we have to go through and start the process all over again?
Yeah, Kelly. So yes, and I've been doing this for a long time. I don't want to date myself, but a long time. And so, yes, things just constantly recycle themselves. And you take 100 steps forward and then you go 150 steps back. It really feels that way all of the time. For Christian Employers Alliance, to answer the first question, I have a really big vision for it. I have I want it to be the largest chamber on the Hill. We are a Christian society, and I believe that we should have the largest voice. And so for the next 2 years, I am recruiting as many Christian CEOs across the country to come and be part of that chamber. We have strength in numbers. I need my CEOs to show up on the Hill with me. I need them to help. A lot of them have access to attorneys. A lot of them are attorneys themselves. They're also struggling with issues that they can help us with. And so really just bringing us all together so we're united under one alliance is going to really help us make change the quickest and the most solid way, right? And we do have other chambers out there that I won't mention, but for the most part, they're not on our side when it comes to DEI, which is discrimination. And they're not on our side when it comes to COVID vaccine mandates to employees. We think that's, we're not for that as well. This government overreach. And so there is a need on the Hill to have, what I consider a bright light in a Christian chamber that's representing Christian biblical values, which honestly our country was founded upon. And we just need to get back to it.
So if folks are interested in joining you on this fight, how do they get in touch with you?
I just say go to our website, ChristianEmployerAlliance.org. Our phone numbers are there. It's easy even for me to be reached there. And, we like to talk to people all day, every day, as you can probably tell. So right before I got on with you guys, I talked to a couple members. I said, could you please come to the Hill with me and help us some of this stuff, right? So that's just what needs to happen. And I think we're on it. And I think we've got incredible strategic plan for growth in the next 2 years. And I think if you could call us back in 2 years, I think you'll see us have made great strides.
Margaret, you certainly have drive and determination, and I encourage you to keep going, and thank you for what you're doing. Margaret Iuculano with the Christian Employers Alliance Group. Thank you today.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Be sure to subscribe to the BizTV YouTube channel, where you'll find full episodes of this show, a 24/7 live stream, fresh BizTV content, and a few surprises each week to help you stay inspired.